Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jackie and this is Jackie is Making, a place where I talk all about the knit garments, accessories, and sometimes quilts that I am making. I'm so excited today to be back podcasting. It's been a few weeks. I had a pretty hard December, starting around Thanksgiving time. I started experiencing a miscarriage, and this is the third loss that I've had with my husband through the past 3 years. And I come on here to say this because I know that so much of social media can be sunshines and rainbows and butterflies. And I think for me, I value just a little bit of transparency and relatability. And so I come on here to tell you that's what I've been going through. One, because if any of you go through the same sort of hardship, I want you to know that my DMs are open. I can be a resource or just a listening ear because in my opinion, there's not near enough resources out there for this sort of loss. And then also to let you know, this is the first time going through one where I've been like actively making and knitting and quilting and just like the joy and kind of the normalcy and something to do while I was going through physical pain was something new for me, and I felt like it was very helpful through the healing process. And so yeah, it's connected to me, but it's also connected to my making, and it impacts my making. And I am so grateful for this space where I've learned from you all, and yeah, just to be able to have something to get excited about, but also something that was in my routine. I was super grateful for that during this loss. So I just wanted to tell you all that. I know the holiday season can be hard for a lot of us for a variety of reasons. And so my heart goes out to all of you who may be dealing with something as well. It's not easy, but it's life, and makes us who we are. It makes us need a higher power. If you could please pray for my husband and I as we continue on our conceiving journey. If you do practice a faith, I would super appreciate it. But yeah, just know that's why I was gone. And also, it makes me just really grateful for making and to have something to get excited about and to continue working on as I'm going through things in the background. It's so nice to have a hobby that's so immersive and so joyful to experience like as we go through the hardships of life. So yeah, I felt like it was meaningful to tell you all that. And just so you know what's going on with me, what's a part of Jackie. I know you're here to see all the things that I'm making, but as I talk with you each week for, minutes and minutes and sometimes hours at a time, you get to know a little bit of my own personality, and it's a part of me. So I just wanted to share that with you. But so I haven't done a ton of making throughout this month, but the times that I do have a finished object. I also got pretty far on one of my sweaters, and I've also been like having a lot of fun ideating and coming up with my winter making plans, and also just envisioning my 2024 Everything I Knit in a Year video. So just know those are coming as well. I'm planning to film all of my winter plans with a bunch of yarn. So I have worked so hard on my queue, kind of perfecting it. I really cared about showing a little bit more of like an accurate depiction of what it would look like to have a winter making plans, because I saw so many videos that were like, just so unrealistic in terms of what you would be able to make within a season. So I tried to make mine a little bit more realistic. It's probably still very overzealous, but I really tried to hone it in. and also to purchase yarn to have ready to go for those specific items. It's just, it was fun for me to curate it in that way. So I'm excited to share it with you all. And then, yeah, the 2024 Everything I Knit in a Year video, I am rushing to finish the sweater I'm going to talk to you about today because I would love to finish that in 2024. I have 2 days left? And so we'll see if I can do it. But yeah, I wanted to have that video come out after 2024 is over, right? Because you never know. You never know what you're gonna pick up and finish before the year is over. But yeah, lots to come with that. I have tons of thoughts brewing in my head. Whenever you go through something, you know, when you're just so reflective about what you care about, what you're spending your time doing, and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I just have a lot of thoughts overall, like with my making, and I feel like it might be fruitful for me to set some goals and yeah, just be like have a really mindful 2025 when it comes to my making. So stay tuned for that. And the reason why all of you are here today is maybe to see a couple of updates on the things that I've been making. So one that I'm currently wearing, this is a finished object that has not left my body since I cast it off. And this is the Moonwhistle Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And this was a particularly fun shawl. It was very fast. I knit it in 3 weeks. And it's like constructed with kind of stripes of garter stitch, and then a section that she calls a tweed section that is just like a mosaic knitting where you're slipping stitches. I would say pretty beginner friendly sort of pattern for a shawl. If you would like to cast on something that is very squishy, I would say impressive looking, but isn't too difficult, I highly recommend this shawl. It just, I feel like it went really fast. It was very enjoyable, and looks impressive, but was very easy with just in terms of like construction wise, and the actual pattern, like the part that you are doing like fits on half of a page. So it's a very digestible pattern, easy to memorize, and then you just go until you're done. The other really fun part about this pattern is your yarn selection. So for me, when I picked out these yarns, it was right around the time of like Black Friday. So I went into a local store that was having a big Black Friday deal, and I had a lot of fun picking 3 yarns that I have never used before and really not knowing how they were gonna play together, but just kind of hoping for the best. So I was looking at Andrea's, and I really loved, Andrea has similar coloring to me, the blonde hair, similar complexion. And so I loved the way some of those colors looked on her. So I kind of wanted to copy. I'm finding it, sometimes I don't always trust myself with color selection. And so, sometimes it's fun to go off the rails and pick your own. But sometimes it's really nice to see something and kind of copy it and have a little bit more faith that it's going to be exactly what you wanted. So that's what I did with this one. Andrea had a little bit more of a lighter blue. I selected a teal because I'm an autumn color palette and that's within my palette. And then I selected a navy color and then a color changing kind of brown to orange color for the mosaic part of the knitting. And all of the yarns that I selected were worsted weight yarns, all of the exact yarns up on the screen that I used. My favorite, I think the wool stock worsted, it's soft, it's nice. It wasn't like anything super unique. The Cumbria, I felt like was special. I liked the little bit of mohair in there. It's definitely a more rustic yarn. You have to be okay with a little bit more of just that woolly, prickly feeling, I would say. But the way that it knit and just the feeling of it, I absolutely will be using that yarn again. I really, really liked it. And then the color changing yarn, I would say if I were to completely redo this pattern, that would be the only one I would switch out. If you watch my channel frequently, you're probably aware that I don't really like or favor superwash wools, and I prefer just a more rustic sort of feel to a wool. And I picked this Lang Lovis because it was worsted like the other ones. However, I felt like in a lot of places it was much thinner, and it was an unplied yarn. It was very slippy. I don't know if I just would say it was a good fit. It looks great in the garment, don't get me wrong, but I just think I could have found a better fit for it. Something like the Junction Fiber Mill, or even, the Spin Cycle one is a super wash, but it looks a little bit hardier. So yeah, I might search for something, the color changing yarn, in a different spot for this project, and to pair with the other things I selected for it. It also had more of a dramatic color shift than maybe I was really wanted. I feel like the end of it looks like, if you're familiar with Aviator Nation, that brand, that super popular, they make like sweat sets. I feel like the end of it kind of looks like that. And it's a little bit just more of a loud shawl. It's more like the shawl is the outfit, I would say. If I'm wearing this with anything, I'm wearing more neutrals, and then this is really the focus of the outfit. So now I have this one, I have my neon shawl, and then my shift cowl that are all the shawls I've made, they are the moment. They are the outfit. And so I think, yeah, you'll see that coming up in my winter plans. It's like, I kind of need one that's a little bit more neutral that I can wear with other accessories or louder clothing pieces, because these ones are all so special. So the moment. So yeah, that is the Moonwhistle Shawl. Size wise, love the size. I feel like it's perfect. It's been very easy to style. It's super comfortable. Love the squish factor. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say about it. I think that's really it. It's special. I'm excited. I think you'll see me wearing it a ton. I've paired it into every single outfit that I've worn since I've cast it off. This and the shift cowl have been really good makes for me this year. I've been really happy with them. So yeah, that is this. Now to go into an update on the Bibliophile. So the Bibliophile sweater is one that I am making for my husband. And I have to be careful here because I have two needles on it at the moment. I have a needle on the body because I'm already made it to that very end ribbing. I only have 1 inch left, but as it typically goes with me with knitting ribbing, I'm like, oh, let's do some ribbing, but then let's put it on pause and let's start on the sleeve. So I picked up the sleeve. I'm only about maybe 6 rows into the sleeve. And that's because I've been a little bit frustrated with my selections for sleeves. I'll tell you about that in a second. But yeah, this is a top down in the round raglan sweater. This one in particular is fit for a man's measurements. And I picked it for my husband because he wanted something with a little bit less ease. And this one recommends about a 2 to 3 inch amount of ease within the gauge. And for this, I am holding Knit Picks palette double, 2 different colors of greens that I thought were gonna marl a little bit more than they did. By that, I mean just have a little bit more contrast, but I've actually been really pleased with the way that they've looked together. I kind of think it looks more just like a true heather, and like a very, I would say a hunter green if I had to describe it. But it looks special and not like something I would find in a store. And I'm very pleased with the color, and my husband is too. He asks me just about daily when this is going to be done. So yeah, this has been going by swimmingly. It's a super easy pattern. I highly recommend if you're needing to make something for a man in your life. I will say it also fits me great, so it also could be for you. But what I'm dealing with the sleeves right now is, I feel like I'm in a bubble where I didn't really realize that I had an issue with sleeves until I figured out other people were doing sleeves differently than I was. So I think I was watching maybe Nora Knits or a different podcaster. I think it was Nora, and she was talking about how she hates the part of the sleeve where you like get to magic loop. I think it was her. This is also, I found a very similar sentiment with lots of other people and my other friends now that I figured out this is a thing. And it's that most people knit their sleeves on like a smaller cord. I have only ever been using my Chiagu set that has the shortest cord is a 14-inch cord, then plus my two 5-inch needles makes it a 24-inch cord. So I'm able to always do like only a little bit of the sleeve with that, and then I always do magic loop for the rest of it. Always. Like that's how I've done my sleeves for the past year. And I didn't realize so many other people just either they use Chiagu shorties, they use a 9-inch or an 8-inch cable, or they're using DPNs or the like a flexi flip or something like that. And so it's almost like now that I know that other people are doing this differently than I am, now I have a discomfort with it. So I ordered the 8-inch cord from Chiagu. I didn't even know this cord existed. I thought I just had all the cords in my kit. I was wrong. And it's tight on my hands. It feels very similar to, you know, when you knit a sock with a 9-inch. It's so uncomfortable. I just feel like they're like tight and you can feel it on the backs of your hands. So I'm not doing that. If you guys do that, let me know. How do you like that? I hate that. My two friends like it, and I just was like, it's uncomfortable. I think so much of knitting for me is the feeling, the comfort, the like the meditation of it all is a lot about the rhythm of knitting for me and that it feels good. I genuinely love knitting in the way that it feels. Like when I get into a rhythm, it's almost like you're playing music, like you're you're just doing something repetitively and it feels good. And you know, I know that when you're doing magic loop or whatever, you're getting out of your rhythm every so often, but at least during the stitches, it feels good. And I felt like with that 8-inch cord, it wasn't feeling good, if that makes any sense at all. And so, yeah, I don't know. Now, do I try shorties? Do I try DPNs? I know that I like flexi flips. I really don't know what to try. It's hard when like you just know you're gonna have to spend money to try something when I know I can do magic loop, and is it worth it for me to try a flexi flip or to try, you know, if I get a whole pack of shorties, that's like $130, you know, is that worth it? Do you guys love shorties? I just would love to hear from you all. What's your go-to for sleeves? Your favorite thing that maybe you think feels good that I would like? I'm interested to know. So yeah, that's the update on this sweater. I'm hoping, you know, with those other two videos coming, that the next time you see that one, it'll be all finished. I'll have some beautiful photos of my husband in it, and we'll be ready to jump right into January knits. So yeah, that's my only like main whip on the needle right now. Just with everything that's going on, that's been nice to just have one project to focus on. And yeah, I'm really trying to like have that be my last thing before I jump into some fun January things. So that's everything with knitting. I did just want to give you an update on my beautiful wedding quilt that I'm making. I will have some shots for you guys to see of how this is progressing. I only now have kind of like the double borders to do, but that whole center motif is done. And this is a wedding quilt I'm making for some friends. I had a friend, she drew up this design and she's kind of made this as their couple like emblem, if you will. Like this is a quilt star that's representative of them as a couple, like their family quilt star. And I absolutely loved that. And I asked her if I could please make her a wall hanging of it for their wedding gift. And so it's just been fun. It's been fun for me that it feels like it's something I'm really trying to perfect and make beautiful as a gift for someone. So much so, like with these seams, I am glue basting for the first time, just using Elmer's glue in there to get that seam really lined up exactly perfect. And then I'm also pinning every single section, like so many pins. Sometimes with quilts for myself, I'll just like put it under my sheen and be like, oh, it's fine. You know, if it's a little off, it's fine. But for someone, like, since this is as a gift, I'm finding myself enjoying taking it slow and making it perfect. I think yesterday I ripped out 3 different sections of it. I'm not kidding. It wasn't lining up. Rip it out. Got out the seam ripper, rip it out. And there are definitely moments where I think I would have kept it for myself yesterday. So I don't know, there's a part of that I'm actually enjoying. I'm enjoying going slow and making it refined and exactly perfect for this person. I can actually, there's one spot on it I'm thinking of right now where I was like, like it's kind of like knitting where you're like, oh, like it'll block out. And I find myself sometimes I'm like, oh, that'll quilt out, or that little tiny portion will look okay if you quilt over it. And you have to decide, like, is it worth it to take your seam ripper and try to re-perfect it? Will you be able to? Or is it gonna quilt out? You never really know. But every time I work with these art gallery solids, I just love them. They're so beautiful, crisp, and nice with some starch sprayed on them. And the colors are just so vibrant and unique. And I feel like they're just like beautifully curated colors. So I love working with Art Gallery Pure Solids. It's definitely my favorite solid brand to work with by far. And yeah, once I'm done with that, I finally get to start my snowman quilt. The snow just melted in Wisconsin, but I think it's supposed to snow again here soon in January and February. It's really fun snowy months. So I feel like working on a snowman quilt during the snow sounds like a fun way to enjoy winter once the Christmas and holiday season is done. You know, sometimes I feel like when the holidays are done, it can just feel a little drab. So I'm excited about having like still something winter themed to work on and get excited about. So yeah, you'll see that in my next podcast episode as well. Get to work on all those little blocks. There's so many little blocks, so many fun different fabrics, and I'm gonna get to show you like the fabrics and the little blocks I'm working on as I'm doing it, which I think will just be so fun. Last thing with this quilt is I'm going to take this to the Long Armor and I drop it off at my local quilt shop to get it quilted. Long Armed is a person that will use like a big computerized machine to do a sort of design on top of the quilt, so you don't have to do it with your machine. And the couple I'm making this for really wanted this like topographic sort of design, so I think it's gonna look so cool. But when I go there, I need to pick out a backing for this quilt, and I also need to pick out or decide what I'm going to do for the binding. So I've been thinking I could just do like a cream binding to have it. I feel like it'll help it look big and have your eye go to the center. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I could do a color, but my mind right now is just to keep it that cream. But the backing, I could do something really fun. I could do something more neutral. And I also need to come up with what I'm going to put as a little quilt label. Should I put a message on there for their wedding? Should I just say to them from me? I don't know. I'm kind of thinking something like a little clever thing to be put on the back of there would be really fun too. So I'm thinking of that. But yeah, that's everything with my makes today. I do have quite a few acquisitions, but I think I'm going to save that for my winter plans video just because it would be fun to show you the acquisition with the plan for it and kind of go hand in hand. I think that's going to be my next video, and then maybe first or second week of January, I'll get to show you all of my 2024 knits. Honestly, I need to go hunting for some of them. They're in like, I kind of tend to like put my summer stuff away in bins. So I have a couple of my summer garments in there, you know, there's stuff strewn about. So I need to go hunting for all of my pieces. I need to steam some of them, lay them out so they're not, you know, don't have the folds. They need to get camera ready for all of you, but I'm excited for that. I'm also interested, what do you guys love to see in the 2024 videos? Do you love to see a try on? Do you want to hear about the knitting experience? Do you want to hear, did I wear it? I think, you know, those are probably all three things I'll hit on. I typically don't talk about costs in my video just because costs are so arbitrary. You could get the yarn from a variety of places, from your stash, from someone else, from, you know, you could use a whole different variety of kinds of yarn. And so sometimes it feels arbitrary for me to talk about the cost. If it's worthwhile for you to hear what I spent on it, or if something was gifted to me or whatever, let me know if that's something you really care about. But I kind of prefer my channel to not focus on the costs, just because, again, it's so arbitrary. You could pick something so different than what I pick, and you know, we could both knit with wool, but you could knit with one that's $5 and I could knit with one that's $30. You just, it's so across the map, and we could create two very similar looking items. So yeah, it's not something that I care about talking about, but if you guys say you absolutely love seeing costs, I would put the cost up there for you. All right, well, I think that's all that I have for you all today. Thank you all for being so patient with me as I go through life things, as we all do. But I'm glad that you all, if you're liking this, you most likely craft like I do, and you know how much it can mean to you, like if you're going through something. So I hope that all of you are enjoying your crafting through this season, and that I'll see you in the next video. If you're not subscribed, please do so. You can also click like for me if you liked this video, and that bell will make sure that you get a notification each time I upload, so you never miss a video from me. I hope you all have a very, very wonderful start to your new year, that you're planning for all of the fun, crafty things you're going to do in the new year, and the ways that you're just going to be healthier and happier. And I will see you in the new year. Bye.